Welcome to Spoiler Piece Theater, the podcast that doesn't give a shit about spoilers. We just want to talk about the movies. My name is Megan Kearns. My pronouns are she, her. I write film reviews for Edge Media Network. I'm a co-host of the Slashers podcast, a member of the Boston Online Film Critics Association, and a member of Gallica, the Society of LGBTQ Entertainment Critics.
And my name is Dave Riedel. My pronouns are he, him. I'm a movie type guy, and
you sure are.
Also a member of the Boston Online Film Critics Association.
Yowza, you are.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Before we talk about this week's movies, we want to give a huge thank you to our sponsor piece patron, Heather Sachs. Heather, thank you so much.
Thank you, Heather.
And we want to tell you about our Patreon. Over on Patreon this week for our bonus episode, we talked about 28 Days Later and 28 Weeks Later in preparation for 28 Years Later, which we will be talking about on this episode. Along with two other films, we'll be talking about Pixar's ELIO and The Queen of My Dreams. So go check out the Patreon. We put those out every single week for $5 a month. You get to have access to them and listen to them and all the good stuff and vote in monthly polls.
Yeah.
Dave, I love how excited you are for those monthly polls.
Mm-hmm.
So we're going to kick things off with The Queen of My Dreams, which is a comedy drama. It's a Pakistani-Canadian film, and it's written and directed by Fawzia Mirza, and it stars Amrit Kaur, Nimra Bucha, and Hamza Haq. And I saw it. Dave didn't get the opportunity to see it. But let me give you the synopsis from the press release from the studio. Set between Toronto and the colorful streets of Karachi, Pakistan, the film follows 22-year-old queer Muslim grad student Azra, who is estranged from her conservative mother, Mariam. When her father dies suddenly during a trip to Pakistan, Azra is pulled back to her ancestral home for the burial and into a journey through memory, identity, and reconciliation. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So that is, the studio descriptions almost always are accurate.
Yes.
Yeah. So this is a delightful film. This is extremely colorful. The costumes, the production design, the cinematography, all of it is just enticing. It is a feast for the eyes from the color palette. And so immediately I was drawn in. And I love that we have a queer protagonist, and I really wanted to know more. And she loves Bollywood films. And she talks about in the very beginning of the film how she idolized her mother as a kid and she thought her mom was perfect. But now they're estranged because she came out as a lesbian. And her mom is just not supportive, which is awful and gross. But she goes back to Pakistan, and she's really pissed off that she can't participate in the funerary rites the way she wants to because they are segregated by gender. So she can't wash her father's body, which is one of the customs. She can't go to the gravesite until after he's buried. And she's really upset about this. And she is, amidst these arguments with her mother, amidst her trying to reconcile her feelings and deal with her grief, we're also moving back and forth in time, where the actress who plays Azra, Amrit Kaur, is also doing double duty as her mother younger in 1969.
Oh, that's interesting.
Yeah, it's really cool because early in the film, someone says when they see her, they're like, "Oh my God, you look exactly like your mother." And then she is playing her mother, just younger. And her mother was kind of this wild, free spirit who drank and who smoked and who didn't want to get married and wanted to become a flight attendant and wanted to travel the world. And it's a stark contrast to what she is today, because now she's a very devout Muslim and she doesn't drink and she doesn't smoke and she wants Azra to be the same way. And so it's really funny how different her mother used to be. And so we follow her mother's life as she's set up for these meetings to like meet men for potential marriage. And they want like the most ridiculous things, like, oh, do you read the Quran? Oh, you do? Great. And like one guy like checks off a box in his little like notebook, like, oh, can you make chai? Okay. And that was like his only requirement for a wife. And she's like, wow, you have really low expectations. And he's like, thank you. It's just, but it's like absurd. Like they don't care about who she is as a person or anything. Whereas when she meets who's going to become her husband, Azra's father, they immediately have a connection. They meet because her best friend is his cousin, and they go to a movie together, and they're like all three of them, and they're talking, and they keep hanging out together, and they talk about their goals. And he wants to be a doctor. Like actually, he is like studying to become a doctor, but he wants to move to Canada for his residency, and she wants to travel. And they talk about movies, and they talk about their lives and their hopes. So they have a really great, sweet love and connection. And so it's really fun to go back and forth and see the parallels and the differences between mother and daughter. And it's really, really sweet. And it really elucidates like what's going on in the mother's mind and in her life, and the struggles that she had with her own mother, and kind of this idea that you have to do what your parents say because you should be grateful for all the sacrifices they made, and which I think it seems to be, I am not a child of immigrants, but it seems to be a very common struggle that children of immigrants face. And so, yeah, I like all this. I like how it's dealing with how tough it is to deal with a parent who is not supportive, and when you are queer, and dealing with grief, and dealing with gender issues, and kind of dealing with, also like how Azra's mother, Mariam, her life didn't turn out the way she anticipated. So it's really, really great. And it never feels too heavy. I will say, though, that everything kind of wraps up very, very tidily, like all of a sudden, which is kind of, I don't want to say strange, but feels a little weird. And Azra has this moment with her grandmother, and her grandmother has dementia. So her grandmother thinks that she is her mother, Mariam. And she's like, Mariam, I want you to bathe me. I want you to give me a bath. And so she does. And Azra and her grandmother have this really sweet moment. And her grandmother's like, I never told you, I loved you, or that I was proud of you, and I should have. And so it's like this really nice thing. But it seems like for Azra, she's kind of taking it as if her mother is saying it, even though it was her grandmother, and her grandmother meant it for her mom. So anyway, I feel like it could have been possibly resolved in a different way, and I think it would have been more impactful. But this is a really vibrant and colorful film with great performances, and clearly a lot of personal experience, because the filmmaker, this is her directorial debut, and she based this on her short film and her stage production of this story of her, I'm assuming her personal life. And yeah, it's a really lovely film. So I enjoyed this.
I'm glad. I got into your dad died of a heart attack, and then you see her on the train or the bus. I don't remember which it is. And when you said that the lead plays her mother in like 1969 or whatever age it is, or whatever year it is, when she's roughly the same age. That's a thing in the movie they're watching. The Avra, what's her name? Azra? Mm-hmm. Azra and her partner. I can't remember if they're together, right? Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. She calls her roommate, but they are clearly her partner.
Coded, yeah.
Right. Of course.
They have that conversation where the partner is like, "Hey, don't you think that's weird for the actress to like?
Yes.
She's that guy's like girlfriend, and then they get married and he dies, and then that same actor is playing her son. So bizarre." It's like, I see what you're doing there, movie.
I know, because before that, I'm watching and I'm like seeing her dad, because you see her mom and dad in Pakistan, like when she's on the phone with them. And I'm like, that dad looks like he has like old makeup on. Like, what's going on? And then I'm like, okay.
That was the thing. I'm glad that you explained that, because when I was watching it, I was like, they got a woman who's like the correct age to play her mother. Why do they have like a 29-year-old guy playing her dad with like bad gray hair,
Right? It was so weird.
And then you look, like, there's the scene where he like touches her on the shoulder. And it's like, those are a young man's hands. What's going on here?
Right?
Yeah.
I know. So it feels weird when you're watching, especially if you're a really observant watcher, like you are, Dave. But I do love that little nod and touch, to Bollywood. And there are also later in the film, there are a couple scenes where we see Azra as a teenager and she imagines herself in her favorite Bollywood film. And then later her mom is at the grave for her dad, and she imagines herself in the same scene of the favorite Bollywood film, because they both love the same Bollywood film, even though her mom's like, I don't love that film, which I don't know why she's denying it, but she does. So, and the actress, the iconic actress who is in that Bollywood film, also makes a cameo on the flight that Azra is taking to go to Pakistan. So there's clearly a lot of lovely little nods to Bollywood, which is really nice. And the mom is great. She's great in this movie. She's also great in Polite Society, which is such a fun film.
Okay, well, now you've made me want to watch it. You know what? Everybody who spoiler pieces me into shit. It's not cool.
I know. Sorry.
I got too many movies to watch.
It's a never-ending list. Yeah.
I know.
Yeah.
I know.
Yeah. But yeah,
okay.
This is a sweet film.
Good. I'm glad.
Thanks. Truly. I know. It's fun when that works out.
It is.
Yeah. So, all right. Let's talk about 28 years later. I'm dying to hear about this because, unfortunately, I was unable to see this. We see the return of Danny Boyle directing and Alex Garland writing, and the cast is Jodie Comer, Aaron Taylor Johnson, Jack O'Connell, Alfie Williams, and Ralph Fiennes. I will give the synopsis, and then Dave, I'll have you take it away. So, okay, it's been almost 3 decades since the rage virus escaped a biological weapons laboratory, and now, still in a ruthlessly enforced quarantine, some have found ways to exist amidst the infected. One such group of survivors lives on a small island connected to the mainland by a single, heavily defended causeway. When one of the group leaves the island, on a mission into the dark heart of the mainland, he discovers secrets, wonders, and horrors that have mutated not only in the infected, but other survivors as well. All right, Dave.
I mean, they haven't mutated the survivors. I mean, the fuck does that mean?
Maybe their brains? I don't know.
I mean, there's a cynicism that some of them have.
Okay.
And when I say them, I mean people who are not from the British Isles. So the movie makes it clear that now I missed the first 4 minutes of the movie because in typical, I should have known this was going to happen and I didn't correct for it. It rained like the amount of someone taking a piss, and all of Boston traffic slowed to fuck all because you've got these group of tough, hardy New Englanders, millions of them who've grown up in these conditions, and they laugh in the face of blizzards and whatever. And
that's true.
Then any time that it snows like 1/3 of a centimeter or rains a 1/4 of a millimeter, everyone's like, we're going to slide on the road. Fuck, I got to drive at 26 miles per hour. And these fucking assholes. So I missed the first 4 minutes, which apparently dovetails to the last 4 minutes, which has this. I mean, this is a very. I have read through the blurbs on Rotten Tomatoes, et cetera, et cetera. And I am just going to say, I am in the motherfucking minority. I hated almost every minute of this god-awful piece of shit.
Wow.
Like, I fucking hated it. And
you we talked about this on Patreon, so go listen. But you like 28 Days Later. So it's not like you don't like, and 28 Weeks Later. So it's not like you don't like these.
Yeah. So I'm going to go ahead and read to you what I wrote, and then I'll extrapolate. Or I'll expand and extrapolate. This is what I wrote on Letterboxd. And I usually do, as you know, the 1-sentence review. And I couldn't because, you know, when you give a movie 1 star in Letterboxd, you have to have your reasons. Because everybody this is one of the things that I hate when fans rate movies. It's like, look, I'm not a musical guy, but I will be the first to admit, Singing in the Rain, it's a lot of fun.
Oh,
is it a 4.7 star movie? I don't think so.
Oh, it is.
But okay.
At least you appreciate it. I'll give you that.
I mean, and then the people are like, oh, just like, you know, the fucking, like the Goonies, 4.2 on Letterboxd. The Goonies, fucking suck it. So anyway.
Listen, you won't find a Goonies fan here. It's fine. It's whatever.
You know, this is what happens with a lot of people that, you know, like things when they were young. They confuse I liked it when I was young with it's good. It's just like I always say, I love Hiding Out starring John Cryer. It's a terrible movie, but I love it. And I will never say to anybody, oh, you want some 80s nostalgia? You should watch Hiding Out with John Cryer. I will never say that to anybody.
I used to watch that movie. It's great.
It's fucking great. It's the best. It's so stupid.
It's also terrible.
It's the dumbest idea. It's like, I got an idea. Let's make a high school movie that's also a thriller.
Kindergarten Cop, kind of.
Yeah,
but
or Toy Soldiers, maybe.
Oh, yeah.
But Toy Soldiers is terrible, too. Toy Soldiers is terrible. And people fucking love it. I mean, it's watchable, but it's a bad movie. Anyway, we're talking about 28 Years Later. So this is what I wrote on Letterboxd. Quote, this is all things that, starting at 5 stars, because I've decided if you're going to shit on something, let's just start with 5 stars because you got things to take away. Plus, half a star for being different from the first 2 films. I appreciate, this is actually the same mistake that The Hangover Part 3 made, but, and I'm the only person who likes The Hangover Part 3, if only because The Hangover Part 2 is so terrible. I mean,
I think they're all terrible.
Well, I don't really love The Hangover.
No.
It's got its moments. I think that it has a lot of Todd Phillips problems that Todd Phillips movies have.
Yeah.
I think The Hangover Part 2 is unwatchable.
Yes.
And just by virtue of being very different from the second and the first, Hangover Part 3 is much better. And it doesn't work here. So you've got zombie movie in 28 Days Later. You've got zombie military movie 28 Weeks Later. And in this one, you have, old men living with the sheep waiting to die zombie movie. I don't know exactly what you would call it. There's this island off the coast of wherever. They sound like they sound very northern, borderline Scottish. So, and there's a causeway where the tide comes, whatever. And it's got, I don't know how long the walk is, but from the gates of the community on this island to the mainland, you can only go over this footpath at low tide twice a day for 12 minutes. I don't know how fucking long it is. It doesn't matter. And so that's one of the things that's different. It's there's already a virus. There's we've been living with it, and it's a very different sort of vibe at the beginning. So continuing on. So you got plus a half star for being different, minus a half star for casting Aaron Taylor Johnson, who every time I watch this guy, I'm like, I'm not sure there's a worse American performer than Aaron Taylor Johnson living right now. It blows my mind that this guy keeps getting work, that people think he's good. I mean, what's the fucking Nosferatu? Mm-hmm. Watching that, it's just like, he's not bad, but I'm watching him act,
Yes, that is true.
And it's just like, he's one of those actors where you can just see not the character making choices. You can see the actor making choices. And I fucking can't stand that. Get out of the business. I understand. You're cute. Your wife's a director, whatever. Fucking retire. Minus half a star for having a child lead. Minus half a star for the child lead being stupid.
Oh.
Minus half a star for a bonkers mother character. Minus half a...
You just now spoiler pieced me into wanting to see it even more, by the way.
Yeah. Oh, you'll be watching this and everything you see, you'll be like, I disagree with Dave, but I understand.
But I get it.
Yeah. Half a star for alpha zombies, which if you wanted to, minus half a star for alpha zombies. If you ever wanted to write one sentence that summed up Alex Garland as a writer, there are alpha zombies.
Oh,
that is the sentence.
God.
Complete with huge cocks.
Stop it.
Oh, I'm not stopping. And I'm going to keep going. Half a star,
God.
minus half a star for Chekhov's pregnant zombie. Minus half a star for ripping out spinal columns. Because I've seen Predator 2, and once you've seen something played for a joke, you can't really take it seriously. What were you going to say?
I was going to say, I was like, that reminds me of Mortal Kombat. Fatality, which also is from Predator. But I was like, a pregnant zombie, that happens in the book, The Girl with All the Gifts.
And it's in the remake, the Zack Snyder remake of Dawn of the Dead.
That's right. Yep.
And the zombie is a zombie baby.
Yep.
Spoiler, it is not a zombie baby in this one.
Oh.
So we'll get to that.
Interesting.
Plus a half star for Ralph Fiennes. Minus a half star for Ralph Fiennes teaching us life lessons.
Oh, boy.
Not him doing it, but the screenplay.
No. Yeah. Minus
a half star for the cliffhanger ending. And minus a half star for Danny Boyle's directorial flourishes, which in this, he does things every once in a while. We've talked about this. I think Danny Boyle can be quite a fine director.
Yes,
I think he makes some truly bizarre choices sometimes.
Mm-hmm.
And the bizarre choice he makes in this is so this is basically two different movies that are together.
Okay.
The first part is Aaron Taylor Johnson being a fucking Englishman.
Why?
Taking his 12-year-old kid from the island to the mainland to go on his first zombie hunt because they have to go to the mainland I can't remember what it is. I think that they have to get trees for firewood from the mainland because they can't grow enough on the island to heat everything in the cold winters.
Yep.
So the zombies have kind of gone in two different directions. You've got these corpulent, slow zombies that sort of crawl on the ground and eat worms. And all they do is eat all day. But they still can kill you, but it takes them work because you got to just sit there and wait for it to happen, And then you still have the fast zombies. And then you have the alphas who tell the other zombies what to do, Fuck. So, I've always hated the concept of the fact that there are alphas because, for one thing, it's a human concept that we have projected onto animals.
Thank you. It is not real. Oh, makes me nuts.
It's real with animals in captivity sometimes. It's not real for animals in the wild.
But people try to say oh, it's the natural order of things. No, it's not.
No, it's not. All those sled dogs that attack each other, okay. Anyway.
Oh, man.
So there's alpha zombies that tell all the other zombies what to do. And they're huge. It looks like Jason Momoa is playing a zombie.
Oh, okay. So they're jacked zombies.
Jacked zombies with huge horse cock, like I said.
Is this real?
Yeah, you don't see him fucking the pregnant zombie, but I don't know if she turned after she was pregnant or if she was a zombie and then alpha zombie fucked her. I don't know.
God. What is happening? I can't wait to see this nonsense.
So they go to the mainland to do their hunting and they find some slow zombies and then they get trapped because an alpha comes between and a group of 9 or 10 regular zombies that I guess he's in control of. And of course it's a male. It's not an alpha woman zombie.
No, of course not. Of course not. Don't get crazy, Dave.
I mean, fucking Alex Garland. Yeah. You fucking do that original storytelling. So they get separate. They get trapped on the mainland and they spend the night in this decrepit house that starts falling apart around them for no reason other than the screenplay demands it. And then they have to make a run for it to get back to the island. And it's not quite low tide. So they've got like their ankle, maybe they're knee deep in water, and the alpha starts chasing them. But he's so big. He's like 6.5 feet tall that he can kind of like move through the water, and he's naked. So he can move through the water more easily because they've got like bows and arrows and like backpacks full of gear. And, you know, because they're out there to like shoot and kill zombies.
Right.
And then they make it back. The alpha zombie gets killed. I think that like somebody shoots him with a fire arrow and he burns to death or something. But Aaron Taylor Johnson says something stupid like, I've seen those take 12 arrows before they die. Dude, one arrow through the neck and he would go down. Okay. Just you've made the point of saying, make sure whenever you shoot a zombie, you shoot him in the neck because that'll take care of it. Oh, it doesn't work for the zombie who used to be a fucking linebacker. I think it probably will. Or a football hooligan because we're in England, whatever. So then they're back and they're having a party for the kid because he did his first thing and he made it back and it's awesome. And I forgot to mention that Jodie Comer is his mother and she's a loon. But it's not clear.
I'm in.
But it's not clear why she's a loon. It's like she has moments of like real lucidity. So, and it doesn't seem, to this layman's eye, it doesn't seem like mental illness. It's like something that I don't really get is going on here. And when they're on the mainland, Aaron Taylor Johnson and his dumb kid are in this house and they're looking around and Aaron Taylor Johnson's like, this is a good opportunity to like really look around at the land, take it in, you know, kind of remember where we are, that this point's here and that point's over there. And the kid's like, oh, what's that fire over there? And he's like, I don't know. I've never been over there. Well, that's bullshit. So, the kid finally gets it out of him. He's like, well, there used to be this doctor who lived over there. And 15 years ago or something like that, I was in here for a hunt and we went over and looked at it and we went down there and we just see rows of corpses like laid out like somebody's planning to bury them, but they're not. There's this huge fire going and there's a guy like throwing these bodies into the fire and he just waves at us and it's weird. We're like, get the fuck out of here. And so the kid hears that and he's like, doctor. And then he sees his dad like making out with some other woman. So like after the party. So the next morning, you know, he pulls a knife on his dad and it's like, well, of course you did. You've seen this one thing. You haven't thought to yourself, it's a zombie apocalypse. You live on an island. Your mother has something very wrong with her. Your father is running this house all on his own, which I don't think is enough reason to have an affair with anybody. But at the same time, you throw in zombie apocalypse, you throw in raising a child, you throw in taking the child out to like shoot alpha zombies with huge cocks with an arrow. Like, let him go fuck the town, whatever, you know? Who gives a shit? Like, it's
clearly this kid.
It's very clear that whatever is happening to his mother, she's not going to recover from. I thought she might have been like zombie bit, and maybe she's like a little bit like Imogen Poots or whatever her brother's name is in the second movie, where like one of them's a carrier,
right.
But it's not that. So the kid like pulls a knife on his dad, and he doesn't say, he's like, I saw you making out with Miriam or whatever her name is. I just made that. Her name might be Miriam. I don't know. It might be Linda. I don't know what her name is. So Aaron Taylor Johnson like snatches the knife away from the kid. And I actually kind of like this from a writing perspective. He just takes the knife and he just closes it because it's a flip open knife. He closes it and he just hands it back to the kid. You know, the implication being like, I could have taken this back from you and stuck it in your throat, but you're a child and you're stupid and you're my son. And I know you're not thinking right. So here's your knife back, you know? But then he's like, we don't want you anymore, Dad. It's like, yeah. So he takes his mom, he creates a diversion. He lights a building on fire in their town.
As you do.
As you do. He takes his mother onto the mainland and she has a moment of lucidity when they get there. She's like, this is the mainland. What the fuck? And he's like, we're going to see this doctor. So they go through all this shit. they run across, a group of soldiers who are from, I think they're Swedish, if I recall correctly, who the Alpha has killed all of them. Like they hit a boat, they hit a rock in their boat, and so they had to go ashore. And then they all got killed except for this one guy. And he saves them when they go into a gas station because there's like fumes in the gas station that have been there for years. And so the guy is like, the kid and his mom are being chased by zombies, and the Swedish guy's like, get down, or whatever Swedish people sound like. And because the gas, it's lighter than air. So there's like a foot where they can be, the zombies all burn, whatever. And he's like, you people are fucking stupid. But you do learn from him that the rest of the world does not have a zombie problem, because he just says, I've got this friend in Sweden where we grew up, and he's like a delivery driver for Amazon. And the kid's like, what's Amazon? And he's like, it's a place where you can buy everything. And the delivery driver is, well, he's a driver. He's like, you know what a driver is? He's like, yeah, I know what cars are. He's like, okay, that's what this guy does.
So wait.
And he's got an iPhone and all that stuff.
Wait, so when 28 Weeks Later ended, it ends with Paris getting the zombie virus.
There is some mention of the zombie virus getting to
or
that
the rage
part.
virus, whatever.
Yeah, the rage virus getting to that part of Western Europe and being contained.
Okay.
But they've just kind of given up on the British Isles, I guess, because I guess the British have given up on themselves. I mean,
oh wow.
Hey, listen, the English fucked up a whole lot of shit, and now they're not really good for much. So why don't you just let them all like turn into zombies? Who cares? But
is that karma for all the colonization?
Maybe this, all these zombie deaths. This is what you get for India and Pakistan. There you go. We'll deal with the other stuff later. So anyway, the kid, then they run across the pregnant zombie who's like giving birth, and of course, sick mom like helps the zombie mom give birth, and then because the zombie mom understands that she's a woman and isn't there to hurt her. And so the baby's born, and they wrapped up, and they're like, oh, the baby's not a zombie. That's weird. And then the zombie mom's like, bleh, and the Swedish soldier kills her. And then the Alpha comes in and like rips his head off, and you see him holding the guy's head with his spine connected to it. And it's just so stupid. And then they find Ralph Fiennes, and Ralph Fiennes takes the head and the spine, and he puts it in a thing and like boils all the skin off of it, and like takes the brain out and like bleaches it. And he's like built these towers of skulls to like honor the dead. And he gives this whole speech, and this is the thing. It's like Ralph Fiennes is just so good. Even when he's playing the Doctor as kind of a loon, which the Doctor is not, he's just alone and dealing with death. And what he does is he takes all of the corpses that he can find, and he burns them, and he takes the skulls and, cleans them, whatever, and like turns them into art. Which is kind of interesting. But then he has this whole speech about like, the all deaths are to be honored, and whether you're and it's like, I get it, but I really don't need it explained to me,
spoon-fed,
like they did at the end of Saving Private Ryan, so that Private Ryan could learn his sacrifice because he had to watch everybody else die in front of him instead of going back like he should have. And so, of course, mom, Ralph Fiennes does a bunch of like as many tests as he can do. He doesn't really have medical equipment, but he says basically, and the kid's name is Spike. I forgot to mention that. His name's fucking Spike.
Oh, that's terrible.
Spike and Spike's mom, he's like, as far as I can tell, you have breast cancer that has metastasized and has spread to your lymph nodes and your brain, which is why you are having moments of, this is my word, not his, kookiness. It's because the tumor is basically pressing on your brain. And in times when it's very bad, you kind of go nuts. And in times when the tumor, takes a powder, you have moments of lucidity. And she even says, she's like, I say these things and I know they're insane when I'm saying them, but I say them anyway. And it's like, right, I really didn't need you to get drilled down in it that much. I get it. I know how cancer can work sometimes. So anyway, the kid takes the zombie, like mom kills herself, basically, lets Ralph Fiennes like do her in and like Ralph Fiennes gives mom's skull to the kid and he puts her on the top of the tower. And then the kid takes the baby because the alpha tries to attack them. But the kid, Ralph Fiennes has a bunch of morphine. I don't know how he has a bunch of morphine.
Yeah.
But he has a bunch of morphine.
That's what I want to know, how.
And the kid knocks out the alpha and Ralph Fiennes is like, you got to go. And so the kid takes the baby back and he runs over and leaves the baby and he names the baby his mom's name, which is Isla, I like the name Isla. And then he decides he's going to go live on the mainland by himself. And at the end of the movie,
Spike is going to live on the mainland with the zombie baby?
No. He gives the zombie baby to his village. He leaves her outside the gate and then goes back.
And then he goes to the mainland.
And then it says 28 days later, and you see him like roasting a fish, and he's dirty, and then some zombies see him, and he kills one of them, and then he gets trapped by them, and then some like literally fucking football hooligans with blonde wigs come out of nowhere, and they're like, this is the 4 minutes I think I missed at the beginning because the cast is listed in order of appearance, and all of those people are listed first in the cast. So I must have missed some fucking crazy prologue with Jimmy and his hooligans who just fucking kill zombies. And then Jimmy says, after they kill these zombies, he's like, so what's your name? And he says, Spike. He's like, Spike. Can we be friends? And that's like how the movie ends. I fucking hated it. I hated every minute of it. I hated this so much. It really surprises me how much I hated it.
Wow.
Hate. Fuck this movie.
I mean, I have to say, you didn't make it sound terrible when you were describing it. Certain parts,
You are going to have to watch it.
I know. I can't wait. Listen,
dead weight.
I cannot wait. I've been excited to see this all year. I'm going this weekend to see it. I can't wait.
Ecstatic to see this.
Boy, are you disappointed.
Yeah. And not disappointed in the way that it's like, oh, it didn't live up to my expectations.
Right.
It's like, you didn't even try to meet anybody's expectations. This is dog shit. I honestly don't understand. Every review on Rotten Tomatoes by major critics is a fucking rave. I don't understand where these people are coming from. The one thing I can say about it is it looks really good. That is the only thing.
All right.
It looks good. The performances are fine, except for Aaron Taylor Johnson.
Of course.
He's just kind of going to be your dead weight and everything. The good thing is he's not like total dog shit like he used to be.
Well, that's something.
Well, when he was younger and he was just awful.
He was unwatchable.
And now it's like, okay, you've gotten to a place where you're serviceable.
Yeah.
Like I watch you and I think, oh, everybody in this is better than you, but you're not detracting from them. Great.
That's something. That's an improvement. That's actually a big improvement from where he was.
Yeah. So anyway, let's move on. This fucking.
Oh boy. Wow.
Piece of dog shit.
I'm sorry. I need a moment. Okay. Let's talk about our third movie, Pixar's Elio. And this is an animated sci-fi film. And it is directed by Madeline Sharafian, Domee Shi, and Adrian Molina. And it's written by all three of them too. And I'm sorry, I'm still reeling from your 28 Years Later review. It features the voices of Yonas Kibreab, Zoe Saldaña, Jamila Jamil, Shirley Henderson, and Remy Edgerly, and Brad Garrett, of course. I almost forgot. How could I forget Brad Garrett? He has a very big role in this.
Right.
And let me give you the synopsis. This is coming from Disney Pixar. The cosmic misadventure introduces Elio, a space fanatic with an active imagination and a huge alien obsession. So when Elio is beamed up to the Communiverse, an interplanetary organization with representatives from galaxies far and wide, Elio's all in for the epic undertaking. Mistakenly identified as Earth's leader, Elio must form new bonds with eccentric alien lifeforms, navigate a crisis of intergalactic proportions, and somehow discover who and where he is truly meant to be. Yeah, that's a pretty robust description. And poor little Elio has lost both of his parents, and his Tia is watching him, and she is in the military, and she watches space debris. And that's her job, along with a team of other people. And he is very obsessed with aliens and wants to be abducted. And he makes like little signs in the sand, and he wears a cape and a little helmet with like a colander with wires on it. And he listens to a hand radio. And he very much is fascinated by space and wants to be taken up to the stars with the aliens. And he's, of course, very much grieving, and he's very sad that his parents are gone, and that he has invented a language, ELIO's, and the only people who know it are or were his parents. And so he's feeling very isolated, very lonely. His Tia, his aunt, is always busy working, and she dreamed of becoming an astronaut, but now her dreams are put on hold so she can take care of Elio. And so, so Elio does get abducted by aliens willingly, all because one of the scientists discovered there was a strange signal coming, and it was due to the Voyager craft that went up back in like 79, 78, 1980, somewhere around there, and which very much is from Starman. Well, it's not from Starman. It's a real thing that happened. But I always associate it with Starman because you hear the recordings of Voyager and you see the gold disc record that they send up to try to contact alien life. So aliens have heard, they made contact with Voyager. They think Elio is their leader because he sends back a message on this computer. And even though his aunt like kind of shuts down this scientist who's like, there are aliens out there, and she's like, this is crazy, there are no aliens. And so they leave the room, and Elio is hiding in like the corner, and he sends out a message like, hi, I'm Elio, I'd love to meet you, okay, bye, I love you, okay, bye. And which was funny because that becomes a recurring gag where the aliens think that's the that's how you say goodbye, is you say, okay, I gotta go, love you, bye. Like, it's very cute. And so he meets all these aliens from different worlds, and they all kind of convene at the Communiverse, and they are all ambassadors, and Elio wants to become an ambassador, and they think that he's the leader. They don't know he's a kid, and which definitely makes sense because, they all have different bodies and different languages, and they all have these like little discs that they wear that this computer creates so they can all speak each other's languages and understand. And then there's this guy who is voiced by Brad Garrett, and he is like this very big, imposing creature. He's like mechanical, and he wants to be let into the Communiverse because he's like, I have weapons and you have all this intelligence, and I want to unite our strengths. And they're like, we're good, because they think he's like, like a scary warlord guy. And so they don't let him in. And then he's like, I'm going to, take this place by force. And so they all think that they're just going to go into hiding to hide from him. But Elio offers to go talk to him. And so he like learns negotiation tactics from the computer. And then he goes to talk to the guy, and it doesn't go very well. And then he gets imprisoned, and then he crawls through a vent, and he comes across the warlord leader's son, and he's like a little baby worm with teeth, and he like a worm creature, and they become besties, and then he gets him out of there. And initially, Elio takes him as like a bargaining chip so he can have negotiations with the Communiverse, but then he finds out that, I can't think of the kid's name, the little worm kid. It's not Gordon, it's Glorden. That's it.
Glorden, yeah.
Glorden, thank you. Yeah. So Glorden is like, I don't want to become a big scary warlord because all of the creatures on his planet, they are little worm creatures like him, and they get put in their carapace, which is basically like a mech suit, and with all kinds of weapons. And he doesn't want to live that life. And so he tells Elio this because they become besties and they start having fun at the Communiverse. And so Elio has this plan to clone him because while Elio is doing negotiations, the Communiverse ambassadors tell him, well, we'll just clone you so your clone can go back to Earth because you're an important leader. So the Earth needs you. And so they send his clone back, and his clone is just like him, except perfect. Like, he helps with the laundry and he makes dinner and he does all the stuff. And it's great. And, his aunt is like, this is the best. You made this delicious meal and blah, blah, blah. She is on to him, and she knows something is awry because he's not interested in aliens anymore, and he's not, idiosyncratic and strange like he was. But anyway, so Elio has this plan, so he clones Glorden, and then things go awry from there, and it's like a whole thing where his dad knows him. He knows that it's a clone and not him. And then he's going to wage war on the Communiverse. And then Glorden gets hurt. And because Glorden gets in the spacecraft and goes to Earth to escape. And then Elio and his aunt have to save him and bring him back. And so they go back to the Communiverse, and then Glorden's dad gets out of his mech suit to save him, and then they invite Elio to stay, and then Elio is like, no, I'm going to go back home and start a family. Well, not start a family, but be a family with my aunt. And yeah, but in the post-credit scene, you find out that he still talks to Glorden and he's made a friend. And the whole movie is about loneliness and grief and finding your place and finding community and embracing your weirdness. So that's the movie. Dave, what did you think?
Well, I just fucking spewed vitriol all over 28 years later. So I won't spew vitriol here, but I will give you the short version, which is that I really didn't like this.
Oh,
bordered on hate.
Oh boy.
And this whole it's got the Disney dead parents thing, which they don't really actually talk about too much, but it's there. And they have, I don't think I've seen a great Pixar movie since Coco. I think that.
Oh, well, Alfred, I was going to say Alfred Molina. That's the wrong name because now I'm thinking of the actor. But Molina, one of the directors.
Oh, right, Adrian Molina.
Yes, Adrian Molina. Yes, he directed Coco.
Right.
So not a surprise when you're talking about how that's the last great one. But yes, Coco is the best. It's wonderful.
Yeah. I mean, I thought Toy Story 4 had some fun moments, and Soul didn't work for me. Luca was fun, but lightweight. I really liked Turning Red.
Turning Red's great.
But everything else I've seen has been kind of shitty. And this is just kind of shitty. I mean, I found it to be like too bonkers, too loony, too impressed with its own sense of humor. And I didn't connect with the characters, and I was brought to tears with several moments with the whole like parental stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Listeners, I have not talked about this on the show, and the only reason I'm doing it now is because today is June 18th, which is my father's birthday, and my dad died 9 weeks ago. And so I've got all of that going on for me, and this movie still didn't move me to enjoy it. So something's not working here. The one thing that I thought was funny was the clone, Elio's clone, and when his aunt gets the hair and she's had dinner. He's like, all right, I'm going to go to bed. She's like, great. And then she sticks out her tongue and she's taken one of the hairs from his head when she kissed him. That made me laugh. Everything else in this movie I thought was kind of shit. I'm not going to lie. I mean, just bad. Not bad like Monsters University or Cars or anything like that. Not like egregious.
Yeah. But
just not my fucking thing, and just way too glib. Glib's not the right word because it's not like mean-spirited, but it's just too kooky for kooky. Like, I like kooky for kooky's sake, but like, what the fuck is this shit? I want to look at a giant fucking worm for an hour and a half. No, I don't.
Oh, I do.
Oh, God. You are a different kind of person from me then. Let's hear what you thought.
I thought this was an utter delight. I thought it was great. I did. I thought it was incredibly sweet. I thought it was really tender. I thought it was really adorable, really cute. I loved the friendship between Elio and Gordon. I particularly loved that. That might have been my favorite part. The beginning made me cry. The end made me cry, as most Pixar movies do. And, you know, watching this, I was really concerned. Concerned is probably the wrong word. I was annoyed. That's a more accurate word, because I thought Gordon's dad, Brad Garrett's character, was going to be the villain. And kind of one of the things I love about the Pixar movies is that there never is an actual villain. It's always kind of something existential that, you know, that the characters have to work through as a general rule. And I was like, oh man, they're going to make an actual villain. And it's like, no, even he's not the villain. The villain, I did not coin this. My roommate did, because my roommate came with me. The villain is loneliness. So, which I thought was adorable that he said that. But yeah. And so this really resonated with me in the sense of being lonely, feeling like a weirdo, feeling like an outsider, feeling like you don't belong. There's a line that Jamila Jamil's character, she's one of the aliens, says to Elio, where she says, you're a really unique person, Elio, that can feel like you're, you know, like isolation, like you're all alone, but you're not. And there was something about, I love her as an actor, and maybe it was the delivery, maybe it was the dialogue, I don't know, but it just really hit me and I really loved it. I loved how kooky this was. I loved that this was weird. I love that it leans into that weird. I love that it has touches of horror. I think that's great. I love the sci-fi illusions. I love that it pays homage and there are nods to Starman, to Terminator 2, with when Elio's clone is melting and he like gives the thumbs up side.
Yeah.
I was like, yes, I love it. I love how there are touches. And I think Domee Shi talked about how she was inspired by Alien and The Thing, and you can definitely see the body horror element there with the clone issues. Close Encounters of the Third Kind, there was a scene that kind of reminded me of that. So yeah, so I love these touches that are happening. This was weird. I like weird. I like when kids movies and animated movies get fucking weird. I think they should get weirder. I'm here for it. I do think this movie has severe pacing issues. There were certain parts where I found myself really bored, but then it would pick up again, and I was back in. So that is my one criticism of the movie. But everything else, this really worked for me. I fucking love the worms. Give me the worms. Give me dune worms. Give me these worms. Give me real worms. I love it.
Give me real worms. Give me all the real worms.
Yes.
This movie has 3 directors. How does Brad Bird do it? That's what I want to know.
Yeah. Well, there's a reason it has 3 directors. So Adrian Molina was supposed to direct this solo, and then he got he started working on Coco 2. So then he gave it over to Domee Shi, and Domee Shi also directed it with now the other director's name, who now I can't remember, and Madeline Sharafian, and she's a storyboard artist. And so, yeah. So that's why there's 3 directors.
Yeah. I mean, I know animated movies, it's not uncommon for there to be multiple directors.
Right. No, totally.
Because they are big, fucking huge, crazy projects.
Yes. Yeah. And the whole part about like the military base element of it comes from Adrian Molina's personal life. So yeah, so I don't know. He's like I said, he started work on this, so I'm assuming that's why he obviously has director credit. But yes, but then it was turned over to the. Well,
and he's got story credit too, right? So
yes, yeah, all 3 of them wrote this. So yes.
Yeah. I mean, I'm not going to go ahead. I'm not going to say this is not, as too harsh. It's not bad.
Yeah,
but this movie,
okay if you're harsh on it.
This, it didn't work for you. But I should say this movie does not work for me in 95% of its whatever does not work for me. I hadn't even known this was a movie, by the way, until you were like, oh, we should do Elio. And I'm like, what? And I was like, okay, fine. And by the way, it would be really strange if they didn't have an Orlando screening, considering it's a Pixar movie. But
yeah, I know. I've seen weirder things, but yes,
that's true.
But yes, they're that's the one thing I can usually count on here in Orlando is that there will be Disney and Pixar screenings.
Yeah. So, it just wasn't my thing. By the way, you want to watch a movie that completely unintentionally tackles loneliness in, I think, a very real way. Hiding Out, starring John Cryer.
Oh my God. He doesn't go to space, Dave.
No, but he's a 27-year-old man. He's a 27-year-old man surrounded by 18-year-olds who can't be himself and is like,
that's true. That is,
has no recourse but to live alone at the high school so that nobody finds out who he is. I mean, you want to talk about
that is very
loneliness.
True. You're digging really deep into Hiding Out.
I mean,
that's a deep analysis of that, but you're not wrong.
I have always thought that movies don't belong to the director after the director puts them out.
Totally. Completely agree with you.
And people who get mad at me for saying The Fly isn't about AIDS. Well, it kind of is. If you look at the
totally is. Yeah.
David Cronenberg says it's not, but David Cronenberg made it and then put it out and then it's over.
Absolutely.
And 1986 was a big year for AIDS. It was the first time Ronald Reagan mentioned the word. So,
I mean, you can't have horror movies that didn't. Every horror movie was influenced by AIDS. So, no, absolutely. Whether it's conscious or not, whether, even if that wasn't David Cronenberg's intention or his direct inspiration, it still was in the ether.
And
so
considering how many sex scenes are in that movie, I mean, for Christ's sake.
But yes, no, I completely agree with you that once an artist or filmmaker puts something out, that's it. It's open to interpretation. And there is no really wrong interpretation. Yeah.
Oh, there are wrong interpretations.
All right.
I mean, let me put it this way. No one has ever thought deeply on Hiding Out, but...
No, and I love that you have.
Well, it's just, you've got to think about the things, even the movies that aren't good, or the books that aren't good, or the songs that aren't good. You've got to think about, I really like Miles Davis. I don't listen to a lot of jazz. Mm-hmm. But I do like Miles Davis. You know what I don't like? I don't like the Kind of Blue album. I just don't really like it. But you know where The Great Gig in the Sky comes from by Pink Floyd? It comes from Richard Wright having heard one of the chords in Kind of Blue and being like, I love that chord. I have to write a song from that chord. And then you've got The Great Gig in the Sky right there in Dark Side of the Moon with the big screamy Claire Torrey vocal, one of the greatest songs of all time from an album I don't really care for. So
there you go.
Things happen, so that's why you got to think about shitty movies like Hiding Out. That's why you have to think about Heaven's Gate, That's why you have to watch Tab Hunter movies.
I mean, I would say you should watch Tab Hunter movies.
Yeah. No, but I mean, I'm never going to look at Tab Hunter. I've talked about this before and been like, ooh, good performance, So.
Yeah, I mean, but I think I agree with you in the sense that I think you should watch and read all kinds of art, whether it's quote unquote bad, whether it's good, whether it's middling, wherever it falls on the spectrum. I think you just could keep reading, watching, listening, whatever, a wide range of things.
And I love bad movies. I go out of my way to watch movies that are known to be bad.
And you're always trying to get us to watch bad movies.
I know. That's why I got to do it. I got kind of interrupted by life when I was putting my new show together. I shouldn't have mentioned that because now I actually have to do it. But,
yes, do it.
Yeah. Anyway, I'm working on a show about bad movies, everybody. But like I said, life sort of got in the way.
Yes, it does.
So, but anyway, that's why I can sort of come around even to things that I really don't like and be like, oh, well, I understand what this is coming from and how this works for other people. Now, if the only thing you like is the MCU and Star Wars and shit like that, then I think you probably have some sort of personality disorder. But
I just bristle at Star Wars being labeled with shit.
Well, it's
but I know what you mean. If that's all you're watching. Yeah.
Now, I have seen none of the television shows, and I know that you like some of them.
I love them.
I am speaking of the prequels and the bulk of the sequels.
Listen, I love all those too for different reasons.
Yeah. I mean, I've come around to Rogue One. I really didn't like it the first time I saw it. And I've seen it a couple more times. I'm like, this movie actually kind of works. It's got this weird foreboding and it has that fucking horrific ending, which kudos to any major big budget studio film that's like, every character is going to die.
Yeah. Yeah. That's why it's amazing. It's so ballsy. And I love it.
I
it's
appreciate
such a gamble.
it so much more. And also Donnie, what's-his-face's performance. I love in that.
Yen. Yeah.
Yes.
He's great in it. Yeah.
So
he's really
still
great.
never going to be a Felicity Jones fan, but she's fine.
Yeah. Yeah. That's probably my favorite performance of hers.
Yeah. And I don't think she's bad. She's just not for me.
I could not agree more. Yeah. I feel very similarly, but I think she's great in that. But yes.
Yeah.
But anyway, back to this. I agree with your assessment that there's nothing wrong with thinking deeply about movies that seem very shallow on the face of them, because they're not.
I mean, Kevin Smith, I would never think of him as a deep filmmaker, but then you see Clerks 3 and you're like, oh, you've actually lived life, haven't you?
It's funny. I think I do actually think of him as I know what you mean, because like
I think he's a deep person.
Yes, that's what I mean. I think of him as a deep filmmaker in the sense that he's a deep person.
Yes.
But yes, because I think he does put a lot of thought into his films, even though it doesn't always seem like it.
Right. I think that the unfortunate thing about him is I think his brain works faster than whatever, and I think that he doesn't take the time to self-edit the way he should.
Yes. But bringing this back to Elio, I think this actually is even though it's a tangent, I think it does really fit, because it's all about finding your place in the world and not watering down your weirdness. And that is something, whether it works for you or not, whether you like it or not, Elio does not do that. It embraces that weirdness, which I am totally here for.
It does embrace the weirdness. That's true.
So let's do a recap. So The Queen of My Dreams is in theaters, and I would definitely recommend it. 28 Years Later is also in theaters, and I think, Dave, you would say a hard no pass.
It's a hard fucking no, but nobody is going to listen to me, so,
Well, no, maybe somebody does.
Yeah.
But I know what you mean. It's a juggernaut of a film. Yeah.
Some of the people I know who listen to this show religiously will be like, yeah, okay, I'll skip it.
Yeah. Or maybe they'll wait and watch it on TV or something rather than go into the theater and seeing it. So, yeah. I'm still going to go see it because you spoiler pieced me even into wanting to see it more than I already did.
Yeah.
I couldn't believe that was possible. But also, I'm ready to not like it because it sounds... Oh boy, it sounds rough. But anyway, and then Elio is in theaters now. What would you recommend it, Dave? I'm going to assume no, but I don't want to make an assumption.
I mean, I don't really think that I can say yes or no. I mean, it's just like, it just so doesn't work for me. It's hard for me to give an objective, whatever it is.
And by the way, thank you. I didn't say this because I know we've talked about this so long ago, but thank you for sharing about your dad and your personal life.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, it's I'll just leave it with you like this, listeners. It's weird. So it's all the things you think it's going to be. It's not. I mean, some of it is, but it's mostly not. It's definitely a different part of your journey.
And I would, not on that note, but also on that note, I would recommend Elio because I think it is such a sweet, adorable film. But sometimes we like to get deep here. So we want to give a huge thank you to our editor, Otto Clammer. Otto, thank you so much for making us sound great week after week.
Thank you, Otto.
You can listen to Spoiler Piece Theater anywhere you get podcasts. You can find us at our website, spoilerpiece.com. You can also find us all over the place on social media. We're at Spoiler Piece on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, Blue Sky, Letterboxd, Threads. We're everywhere. So come follow us, say hello. If you want to also say hello, you can email us, spoilerpiece@gmail.com, or you can give us a call.
862-21-PEACE.
Leave us a voicemail message. Text us. Let us know. Do you have a burning hatred for 28 Years Later, the same as Dave? Or did you love it? And we want to know, what are your thoughts on Elio, the Queen of My Dreams? What films are you interested in seeing? We love to hear from you. And if you like the show, please consider rating and reviewing us. That really helps us out a lot. You can go to ratethispodcast.com/spoilerpiece to take you to your preferred platform of choice. You can also just rate us directly on Apple Podcasts, which helps out a lot, or on Spotify. If you also like the show, you can go and become a member of our Patreon. If you're not a member already, for $5 a month, you get access to weekly bonus episodes and hundreds of back bonus episodes, and you get to vote in monthly polls. This week, we talked about 28 Days Later and 28 Weeks Later in preparation for 28 Years Later. It's a lot of 28s. And we had a really fun time talking about those two movies. And yeah, and thank you if you already are a patron. And if you want to support the show, but you already are a patron, or if you don't want to become a patron and you've already rated us, you can get our merch. You can go to our website and it'll take you to our TeePublic store. You can get all of our fun merch, like t-shirts, sweatshirts, tote bags, magnets, mugs, pillows. Do you need a spoiler piece pillow? You probably do.
I have one.
I know, it's amazing. That's great. I love that. But yeah, so it's a great time. And thank you so much for listening. My name is Megan Kearns. I write for Edge Media Network. I'm a co-host of the Slashers podcast. I'm a member of the Boston Online Film Critics Association and a member of Gallica. You can follow me on Blue Sky and Twitter at OpinionS World, or on Instagram and Letterboxd at The OpinionS.
And my name is Dave Riedel. I write about movies. I'm a member of the Boston Online Film Critics Association. I'm Dave Sees Movies on Instagram and Letterboxd, and on Blue Sky, I am David Riedel.
Thanks so much, and we'll see you next time.
Thanks. Bye.